Hello, Hakan. Just checking
Hello,
your
hello. Just getting myself,
positioned.
sorted. Yeah.
So you can do what you need to do, but we have it all sort of laid out. Probably won't need my side notes. I will be asking you questions that I think that the community want to hear the answers to. So as we are on these slides, obviously I'll put the questions out there, and then as we talk through this stuff, there'll be dialogue, just like how we were doing it one-on-one. I think that style works because it allows me to sort of uncover some of these areas that I believe that people want to hear and understand. There is going to be two, one copyright, one investment disclaimer. So I'll do that as well. So
Hi, Micah again. I think
are
I'm
we
good.
live?
Bit of a problem with the iPad, but I think I'm good.
I'm not sure if we're live yet.
You are live on YouTube.
Okay, good. All right, perfect.
So whenever you're ready, you are good to go. And I'll interrupt if I see any tech difficulties. But so far, 296 people tuning in live at this moment.
Very good. Okay. All right. So you just came from football. Season's about to begin.
Season's about to start. So these are friendly matches. We've had it was the sixth friendly match, but any match, be it a season match or a friendly match, is something to win, right? So six in a row wins. It's the story of our life, right? Being a winner.
Well, that's funny because as I was logging on, one of the thoughts that I had in my head, because I obviously played when I was a kid, and when I went on that field, I felt it was my responsibility to make sure that the whole team won.
Well,
that's the position that I took. That's a responsibility I took on the field. But there's 11 players out there, so it's not like it's tennis. It's a team sport. But
yeah, I mean, a tennis sport, a sport where you play single, I think the whole motivation is different. But when it comes to team, I think it's the same with running a team, running a company, running a family, and having that leadership responsibility and wanting to win. It's all the same motivation.
yeah,
Really.
and I think one of the things that I looked at when I decided to team up with you was your history of winning back to back to back. And I think I'm curious a little bit because we're about to talk about, what it is to build a company and a business and the challenges and everything. I know you did something really big in Istanbul, which was bringing together all the banks and putting them under one system.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? Because it's no one else did it, but you.
Let me bring you from a different angle of looking, because it's always the same, Micah. Whenever you're doing something the first, the challenges can change, but the story is pretty much always the same, especially if you're doing something that's changing what's been there for a long time. So, when you first go to the banks, traditional banks, they're used to having their own ATMs, their own investments, and getting every single executive there, which have different motivations, right? You've got the guy that's more interested in his, salary at the end of the month, rather than going one step ahead and really buying what you're actually saying. All of that, going around knocking the doors and getting everybody to say yes to something, took me, I think, 3 years.
So
two
it
and a half,
was
3
it
years.
was that all the banks had their own ATMs, but they weren't in one
No,
network yet.
actually, a bit more different than there was like 6 banks had one group, 3 banks had another group,
Okay.
and now 11 banks on their own.
Mm.
And the 2 groups are enemies to each other, and you've got to bring them to, you know, say we're going to play ball together. But at the end, that mission was completed, and
Yeah.
you know, at the end of that, it's been a success, and it's been going on for years now. The
Still
actual
going on.
capital, of course, it's going on. The capital expenditure of the banks have gone down. The customer satisfaction has increased,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, that was one big case. Now, like I said, it's the same with any project. You know, we've been on working on with miracle projects for the, you know, the last 7-8 years, and especially with the last 2 years together, we've really been putting things together. And through that road, you know, like we always said, we had those challenges. You know, we've had the you know, problems to turn into opportunities to put in line. But I think the call today has something different than the calls before.
Yeah.
We've arrived. We've arrived to the end of the tunnel. And, you know, when I say it, I get like goosebumps, right?
Well,
You know, we sat,
you've been in this journey
I mean,
a lot
you,
longer than all of us
yeah,
here. So
you was in the room Monday, right? We sat, the whole management team. Now we have days, stuff that we're going to talk about now, that we're about to turn everything on. And everything on means everything starts becoming liquid, and everything starts having value. And
yeah.
the big growth is when we turn everything on. That's when, because then you're in the driving seat completely, and you just fast track everything. That's where we are, right?
Yeah. And you've in a way been here before, not as an owner, but as a CEO of a bank division, and bringing that project to fruition and completing it. Really, I mean, that's, to me, working with you, that was one of the things. I was like, well, he's been through something very, very hard before. So going in with him on this, he's just going to repeat it. Of course, this is 100 times bigger and way more moving parts and all of that. But it is the treacherous road to getting there. And it takes a certain person to complete these things.
Let me give you another example. Another product that, you know, we've discussed in the past, which leads us to miracle with installments, is, you know, getting the first consumer credit insurance up and running in Turkey. That was the first. When I was, and you know, and I was going around meeting biggest brokers of this world, Aon, Marsh, CEOs of these companies, and getting them to buy that risk, and explaining to BMX and Arçelik that this is going to increase their turnovers with $1 billion. That itself was a big challenge. And we got it off the ground, we delivered it, and it worked. Now, when you think of what we've been doing for the last 7 years, it's not a drop in the ocean. Of that example is not even a drop of ocean in the monster we've built at the moment. So, you know.
So then, because you said that, you know, you did all that legwork, and then you set it all up, which was, you know, a long road, even in that project. But once you turned it on, it was, from what I heard you say, it was like you went from 0 to $1 billion so fast because everything had been prepared and set up.
2 months. 2 months.
So
2 months. I mean,
what would you say about, you know, because when we first launched, you know, micro shares we had at first, and then we said, okay, well, here's a model where people can get involved and be owners in this. And we had sort of this direction and timeline for when we were going to accomplish it. And I've seen so many different documentaries on companies that set out to do something. And, you know, even with this Elon Musk that I've shared in the groups where he comments, he says, yeah, we're a few years late. And that he's one of the smartest entrepreneurs on the planet, and now arguably the richest man on the planet because of the perseverance, the grit, and he, you know, him going into things like that. But what do you have to say about us, you know, like that we're later than we thought we would be? Like, what's the comment on that? So everybody can see where you are as far as
I
how
mean,
you see things.
I mean, obviously, every, you know, in whatever business you do, you set out with a target plan, okay? And in reality, none of the, I mean, 99% of companies out there that have reached their success stories, none plans have worked according to the first plan. Actually, it's, and this is a given analysis, 70% of successful companies actually end up doing something else different from what they started to do at the beginning, right? This all chains along. But what makes it successful is, yeah, you can be late. Yes, you need to maneuver your strategy, maybe revise your products according to and adapt to the consumer or whoever your customer needs are. But what's important is the team, the vision that you put together. Obviously, I mean, you're giving Elon Musk example. I mean, no doubt he's one of the smartest guys on earth. But there's another. He's smart, I'm sure, because he's been able to bring together a very strong team behind him that delivers everything. We've
he thinks
built
outside the box.
He thinks outside the box. He brings in the right people. You know, loads of variables. And today we've invested highly in people. We have a phenomenal management team. I mean, you saw the hours we spent Monday in the you know, the room, the meeting room.
Yeah, it's intense. It gets heated. We resolve. We work. We get the job done, and it's smart people, really smart people.
Smart people that have delivered. So, I mean, I understand the question, but I think that question was a question that we should have, you know, really talked about a year ago. Where we are today, as I said at the beginning, we've done all that.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to the point that we're rolling out live. You know, we've got to the point that blood is, you know, drooping into all of our products. That's where we are. So, I mean, I know for a fact that this Christmas and New Year is going to be one of my best New Year's in my entire life.
Well,
that I know.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of what would you say, pushback, because I made the mistake of saying that this Christmas is going to be fantastic last year. So, and I'm sure people had a fantastic Christmas, but working with you and being new to this, obviously never walked down this path before, and understanding that whatever can happen will happen, and we've been through it. And like you said, we're here now at the doorstep. And I really just wanted to make sure that people understand that this is kind of how it looks when you build a company. It's never easy. It never goes according to exactly the plan. I mean, Coinbase was supposed to be a crypto wallet, and they became an exchange. And that's how they didn't go out of business. They were about to go out of business. And now they're a multi-billion-dollar company, one of the biggest in the world. So, I mean, this is what it is, right? Let's talk about, I think I need sharing capacity, Melanie. Let's talk about some good stuff. There we go. Didn't set up my page yet. Go. Okay, so we did go through this prior, where we kind of constructed it where we needed to be. Let me do this real quick, Hakan, because I want to make sure that we do this here in case there's new people looking at our company today. The information provided does not constitute financial advice, investment recommendations, or an endorsement of any investment strategy. Investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always conduct thorough research and seek advice of a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions. Any reliance on the information provided is at your own risk. We do not guarantee the accuracy or completeness of the information and disclaim any liability for any direct or consequential loss arising from any use of this content. Remember that all investments carry risk, and you should be aware of your risk tolerance and financial situation before making investment decisions. Copyright basically says if you're going to use this, you need to, in some sort of commercial manner, you need to get permission from us. This is our content, and you need permission to be able to use it. So here's just kind of the opening page. We sort of did this already, but Hakan, you know, I met you in your office. I think it's like 3 years ago now, something to that extent. You showed me your vision, your dream. I had a similar sort of vision as far as that there would be crypto stores, physical locations, and people would go and learn about how to take advantage of the opportunities in crypto. And you had the same vision. I spent 6 months vetting a miracle, technologies, contracts, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, finally decided to get involved. And from that, ended up in your office another day where you made me a partner. Thank you very much. And the rest is history, right? So we've grown to become great partners, great friends, brothers. I think having this kind of experience and journey with someone in life automatically makes you the highest level of friends and brothers. It's a big bond, yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this, because when I talked to you, before I really got educated by you on this, I had some misconceptions about how this works. And so anyone who's bought country shares will start with receiving a bond. And so what can we say that a bond is? This paper that we see in front of us that will be actual physical and will be, I believe, mailed to all the investors or shareholders, right? And what does it take, and what is the process to actually get to the point of having these bonds?
Well, to have a company bond, first of all, you need to complete a high-level business plan. You need to show the authorities why you're producing this bond, and you need to get permission to issue a bond. So it's not something that you can, I'll design a bond and issue a bond and give it out. It's actually you first obtain the permission of issuing the bond, and then obviously a bond there's different bonds. I mean, you can issue a bond that's just based on an income of interest. You can issue a bond, which in our case is a bond with a term, which again is paying out an interest, but it converts to a share at the end of its term. That's what a bond is, and it's registered in the system.
And so, because I've heard the term negotiable instrument, which is checks, bonds, even maybe money, currency.
It's a financial instrument, yes.
Yeah, okay. So we've been through that process, and it's obviously a long, lengthy, detailed process as we're presenting, every part of our company in that process is what I understood from you. And then
Yeah.
you get to a point where all of that is validated and confirmed. Then you get the permission, I guess you could say, to create the bonds that will go to everyone who's invested in Metaterra.
Yeah, if you don't go through the and fulfill all the requirements and get the permission, you cannot issue a bond.
Okay. So now we know it's official document. It's I said negotiable instrument. You call it a financial instrument. And so when you have this, you have something that has a commercial value, number one. And then when people initially invested in Metaterra, there was a dollar amount that was invested, and I assume that dollar amount will be what shows up on the bond.
Correct. That is correct.
And then from that day on, first day, you have let everyone know that from that day, that money invested has been accruing interest.
Yes, I mean the way we calculated it is it's not from when we issue the bond. We have calculated the interest to be paid out from the day of that is investment being made. So it's backdated in that sense.
Which is amazing because from day one, when people parted with their funds were working for them. And
correct. That is correct.
Up until this point, they haven't actually known that, I think. So I think that should be very, very good news to know that all that time was earning
their money was earning interest. Yes.
Right. And I think it's hard to find a place to earn that interest, that high of an interest. It's a very, very, very high interest. And then there's a lot of people in our community have received shares for one reason or the other that they didn't need to pay for. And I was shocked when you said that you wanted to pay interest on something that was basically given either for free or for some of them are for services rendered and things like that.
Like I said to you, Micah, it's this people that have brought us to this day. So, that's always been the way is to honor what we can. I think it just grows that bond that you was mentioning at the beginning.
So maybe describe where we are at in this process and what people can expect. And I know that, we've had our, timelines, and our timelines have been skewed. And so I really want to kind of get an idea of like, what is reasonable to expect? What would possibly delay anything in this process so that everybody can be aware of?
The interest will be paid quarterly.
Okay.
The first quarter will be mid October, end of September or mid October.
And I'm going to say fourth quarter as a buffer there, so that we can be prepared for that. It can be skewed.
And then each new interest will be paid quarterly. Okay. So put that to a side. So every quarter they're receiving their interest.
Yeah.
For the interest that's been accrued already, we're splitting that into 4 as well. And the first payment of the previous interest will be paid 1.5 months later from the first interest paid. So in the first 4 quarters, every 1.5 months, there's an interest payout.
Got it. Okay. So then that's happening, and I know that we have sort of also a model of dividends, and we didn't speak about this in the pre-talk here, but how do you see that playing into these positions from the business generated throughout these regions in Europe, and how that plays into the
Well,
bondholders?
the dividends obviously sit at Metaterra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of the term, these bonds turn into common shares, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like the interest was occurring there, the dividend is already occurring there. And the minute it turns into a convertible common share, sorry, then that dividend right is there for that
Mm-hmm.
common share. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So we might touch a little bit more on that as we move forward. So we spoke about this, how, it's collateral. So if someone wanted to use that bond as collateral, they're able to do that. What we've been obviously coached on in how to move the company forward in the best way possible was for us to enter the market at a reasonable valuation, because we're taking Metaterra from $2 or $3 million,
To $500 million.
valuation to
First
half a
round.
billion, right? And
Because we're not taking our whole valuation, we're taking one slice of it. And the reason we're doing that capitalization is for many reasons. Because one, we will have a new convertible bond, a general convertible bond, as a product. But secondly, when people want to use the bond in their hand, having a company with a capitalization with $500 million will strengthen or make it very easy to use that bond with a financial institution as a collateral.
got it. So we will get into that, but it is a way which I understand that new buyers will come in from the market at a great entry position, so that we can generate the capital for what we need to do in the next stage, in a sense.
Correct. That's correct.
Got it. Now, I think some are sort of commenting on, because we did, and I want to cover this, we presented our business plan. We gave Rodel the industry standards. We gave them what we're doing, what other companies are doing, and gave them a plan that showed what we as a company can perform and do, which is a very common practice. They challenged us on our numbers, and they reduced them by a lot
Significantly.
based on what they felt the growth of the industry could be. And I remember it being, in their opinion, 3 or 4% or something like that. But we've seen the industry grow by a hugely bigger number. But yet we came in at what we can consider a very high valuation, maybe for people who don't understand the industry fully.
Even the common share, Micah, because when somebody came in and purchased a UK share, for example, was never part of the company Phoenix, was never part of the company, the node company, okay, and the media and the real estate and the hotel casino business that we're looking in at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So that convertible bond actually now converts into taking a slice of all those as well, which
So those
wasn't
are added value to the owners,
it's the
because
same
when they
it's the same thing we did with Phoenix, Micah. You remember our last call? I said,
Mhm.
well, you know, people that bought Phoenix at the beginning, Phoenix was a utility token. Now it's a super token, right?
Mm.
That's the way we've treated, our investors. And when we came up with the Node company and the Phoenix company, we didn't pull it out of Metaterra and keep it as a side company. We just put everything under the same roof. So by default, people who purchased a UK or a Spain or share, they become partners of those pools as well.
Mhm.
It's the same thing we did with the token.
Right. So when we went into, say, Germany, and I own a big part of that region, that company, as an early investor, but I was only getting transactions happening in Germany. So I wouldn't see Miracle Pay online, for instance, and anywhere else. I wouldn't see anything from Turkey, anything from any of the other countries. So what was added to what I control or own was all of that extra, which is really everybody's benefit, that everyone was invited into full ownership of.
The biggest thing perhaps for me to say now is that there is a high chance that we won't open another new company share after Italy.
Yeah.
Because we've, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we signed a global deal, as you know, and one of our growths globally is going to be on Miracle Pay as well, and that most probably is going to cover tens of countries. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also going to be that's also under Metaterra. So all those bonds convert into that deal as well. So you've actually got a global share, not a country share, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think in a couple of slides we will talk some more about that deal, so that people can understand what that is. For those who haven't, no, it's fine. There's who haven't, but this is what it speaks of: is our sort of initial approach and model was these regions, and we had a perfect digital way to do that was compliant, but just for us to be extra safe and wanting to always be a step ahead and know that we're going to fall in perfectly with the rules and regulations, we did go ahead and purchase Metaterra, and then do this as a way for people to not only have a better position, but the company has also benefited from that position as a public company in this process.
Yeah.
You agree with that? Okay, good. So here we're teasing a little bit on something that's coming, and I'm not sure if I want to open that up 100% today, but there's some exciting things, which is going to be a new product for us in the future. But if we were to speak about this that we just mentioned, and here's where I really want for everyone to understand, just from you, we land this deal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's see if we're here. And you have an existing company. They've been in business for decades, and they've built a network and a customer list of 40 million customers.
40 million merchants, correct.
Right. There's no shortage of companies that would want to be accepted by them as some sort of strategic partnership, right?
It's not only is it a great idea or is it a great product for their merchants. It's the security side, it's the technology side, it's your legal structure. There's loads of angles you need to go through to get to a point of striking that deal.
So what was the time that it took from beginning to end to actually get the approval and then ultimately sign that deal?
I mean, good. I mean, you got to give the credit to Unsal on this deal, because it is his baby, and it took him and his team around 8 months,
Mm.
and that's very fast. To get to that point in 8 months is actually very fast. I mean, a deal it could take you 2 to 3 years to strike that sort of deal and never get to the end line.
Mm. And you have to pass their vetting. A financial company with 40 million customers is not just going to
They
roll
cannot
over.
offer their merchants something that is 90% good.
Mm.
Their merchant base is their whole value, which is billions.
Mm.
The whole structure's got to be right for them to put the ink on that contract and start integration and planning for it to roll out. That's how giant companies have to take their moves.
Yeah. And there will be a press release on this. We're holding that back. We want to get down the road a little bit further with the company before we take that step. We've done the integration, is what I heard.
Contract sign, integration complete. We're currently planning the rollout, which countries, how many. We're going to start the onboarding process of the merchants. As I explained to you, this rollout and onboarding is a mega operational project in itself. So we're building the teams to run that operation. It's putting us 5 years, 6 years ahead in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you just think about it. How long would it take us? Forget 40 million, because in that 40 million, a lot of them may not be specific customers for them, because I know there's butchers in them. There's, I don't know, hairdresser. Are they going to want to take payment with crypto? But even if you took 10%, which I think it will be around 30, 40, 10% is 4 million merchants, 4 million. How long would it take any company globally to reach out and onboard? And how much marketing fee would you pay to get 10 million merchants to onboard onto your system?
What would be the cost, the marketing cost?
Yeah, huge. So
and this is really something that, when we were meeting in the beginning, it was that particular leverage that I understood, because the infrastructure is already there. The networks have already been built. We're coming in with a technology, a new technology that can simply plug into those networks. And so your profit curve can hockey stick like we've never seen before.
This is the same example you gave when you was asking me about the project in Turkey. How long did it take to get to 1 billion? I said 2 months.
Right.
Well, the merchants are there. You just turn them live and they start transacting. This is how great and exciting it is.
Right. And the impact on the nodes from this part could be tremendous. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that should give everyone a little bit of insight into that, knowing and understanding what they own, because they own this. They own a piece of this.
Impact on the node is phenomenal, but it's also impact on the shares, because it's affecting Metaterra, right?
Right. And Phoenix, because Phoenix will be part of that.
It impacts every single product we have. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Now I wanted to speak about this because part of what we've been doing is funding sort of it's like the angel investors, I guess we could compare it to, funding all of this tedious grind that we've been in. It's the setup, it's the frustration, it's the delays, it's all of that, dealing with governments and dealing with lawyers and dealing with technology and all that, just hard journey. And a lot of investors, they've been on this journey, and some who are not plugged in, they have no idea what's going on. And they think because it's taken so long, it means, oh, well, it didn't go, or, it wasn't a good thing. And if I haven't been paid by now, it must mean that it's a bad thing. And I guess it goes with the environment that we're in. But, I was saying to a group today, I said, how do you know how long it should take? I mean, we're involved in rewriting how transactions are done on the planet. We're involved in changing how money works. We're involved in changing the largest industry on the planet. How long should it take? How do we know? We only know by doing it and completing it. And we're about to do that.
That is 100% correct, and that is what Apple's been through. That is what Sony's been through. That is what Samsung's been through. It's the same challenges. It's the same story they went through.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Elon Musk was fired from his own company because it was so hard, because it was so tough, right? I mean, these are real stories. This is reality of business. Now, what we've been doing has gotten us to this place, and we're in an amazing place right now. But over the next few months, things are going to slowly start to change, and maybe not so slowly, maybe fast.
We're in a phenomenal stage, Micah. The company has built so much muscles now, technologically and structure-wise. Okay, there's, companies fail at a point, where you're still building products and this happened, or regulation. But there's certain stages in companies, and when you reach those stages, you've built enough muscle that you're there. Our journey, like I said at the beginning, the journey, we've built those muscles. We've built so many muscles that we're just we'll break every opportunity that we had on the on the board. We'll just start cracking them now. That's the situation we're in. So I think you was going to talk about this.
We were touching on the bond, and I think people now understand that's a financial instrument, and there's a market out there that we haven't been able to access yet, but we're very close to being able to access this market. You shared with me how we have 3 different brokers set up to capitalize, I guess that's the term, capitalize the company through the OTC NASDAQ market, basically, right?
Funding, capitalize is what we're doing with the $500 million. It's generating funding. So, with every company has a peak finance requirement. Doesn't matter. Every company does. So with all our investments and all our projects, the remaining cash injection, and we've really done the worst case scenario, ends at June 2025 with a maximum capex of $12 million. Now, raising the $12 million through the convertible bond, raising the funding from the products themselves, generating the profits that we have, we're in a very healthy position in reaching our peak finance requirement, and then just start having heavy positive cash flow as a business.
And I was thinking about that Because I've noticed that people are not really quite understanding this capital need and how it works. So I was thinking, like, if you have a really popular restaurant and every weekend there's a line to get a seat, right? And the space next door opens up and you could put 50 chairs in there, and you know you have the traffic, but that day you don't have the money to sign the lease, knock the wall down, decorate, put the chairs there. So you go to the bank and you get funding. Those funds now have a return of 50 people, 50 additional
I
diners
never
in your
thought of that.
restaurant.
I never thought of that example, but that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's
And
exactly
there's
how it
never
is.
a shortage of opportunity in a new company to invest that way, to grow it itself.
Yeah, and
So do
especially
you
in the
need
field
5
we're in,
million? Sure. Do you need 10 million? Sure, because you can invest in your growth always.
and especially in the business we're in, the blockchain crypto, it's, there's no limit and no limit of growth opportunity. We're in the right business line, which is the most growth guaranteed for the next 50 years. That's the business line we're in.
Like we could invest $1 million in growing those accounts with that new partner faster, for instance.
Okay. Yeah.
So just so people don't think this is a pie in the sky type situation, because when I asked you, I wanted to really get it, like, how does this work? So you're describing to me these teams of brokers, salespeople, and what they do is they sell bonds. That's their thing. And they charge a fee for their service. And so you've spoken to different brokers and you kind of told me, here's what it is. So we're now moving into a very official environment because, publicly traded, there's protection against everything there, and it's regulated. So it's a whole nother environment, which then allows for some really amazing numbers. So can you describe sort of a little bit of what you understand by what that's going to be for us?
You mean the free convertible bond?
Yeah, how we can sort of
they're
expect
registered,
to raise the kind of money that we're claiming
they're,
here.
they're registered brokers, Micah, all three established. I mean, we have, as I said, a capex of, let's say, 12 million, but cumulative, we're talking about something between 5 and 7 million is their capacity that they can provide for our convertible bond.
And that's combining three teams of
Yes, cumulative per month, by the way. And our
right.
capex is only 12 million.
Right.
So
and there's more places that can come from.
There's 3-4 more
And we're going to
lines.
talk about that. So
Yes.
Let's go next here. All right. So we've talked a lot about Leveler. This is actually one of sort of the areas that I'm really, really excited about. I feel there's a huge opportunity here, and I love how it's worldwide instantly, and how there's already business going on, and there's technology and bots that can find our service. So we're now looking at, and let's cover this really quick, because we did have some expected timelines and things that happen. And I don't know, I might want to ask you this too, because when we were doing our audit with Certic, and the news hit that they probably or possibly stole money from Kraken, our team just pulled out of that.
We closed the integration. We went back and reevaluated another audit firm,
which if I look at that one incident, I feel like it put 6 to 8 weeks of a delay on Phoenix and everything, which was
two
really
months,
painful.
2
Yeah.
months.
And they were talking about 2 months of time with a company like ours is
Because
extremely costly.
the cost, the time, you've just
Yeah.
finished an audit and now you've pulled back, you're vetting, deciding on a new global audit firm, starting that process and completing. So we've been audited twice
Yeah.
in that sense.
So thank God we're done with that. So it seems like on the technology side, on the audit side, by the way, when we finished that audit, the value of our technology, I believe the dev team was saying, went from, $1 million to like, 20 million.
25 million dollars coding software valuation we have just on Leveler. And don't forget, Leveler is just the first app on the Web3. We're still in the process of delivering Miracle Swap.
Right. And I know Leveler does have a swap function, but it's not ours in a sense of we're not taking fees on the swap side of things. I think the swap happens somewhere else. It's the liquidity pool that's being used, and that's where our fees and our revenue is going to come from. And
Yes.
then when Miracle Swap opens, we could see revenue double almost immediately. And Pinar's built a marketing and rollout plan for that. We have, and I don't know, is it okay for me to mention the avalanche thing, or
You just did.
it's just an avalanche thing? I don't know.
You just did.
I mean, I didn't go into detail, so maybe I'll stay away from
I
that
think
until.
let's wait for 10 days, let it happen
Okay.
itself.
Okay. So we have a timeline here now, and I don't know what it is exactly, but that I want to put it out there. Things have changed before and it can change, but we want to let you know that this is our timeline right now. We don't see anything in the way. And so we're just super excited about opening this thing because it really is a big deal for the company. First of all, when it launches and it actually starts to produce revenue, that 25 million, from what the team is telling me, can double, triple, quadruple within weeks because
and what happens to node prices?
Exactly. And we're going to go, and that's on here too. So that everyone understands. The nodes are tied to NFT, and the NFT is tied to the chain, and the chain is tied to a pool, and all of that is in a smart contract. So as the leveler produces revenue, there's a percentage of that revenue that automatically gets distributed to all the node NFTs. And we've talked about this, Hakan, is that we are really looking to maximize immediately what these node NFTs will have as a value on the open market. You want to describe that a little bit on what that strategy is?
Yeah, so obviously every node holder that already has a node, they will be receiving their NFT, and every new node that will be sold as an NFT. And with looking at a conservative performance of Leveler, having it on the open sea with the right market making team as well, it's how it's done. A minimum of $7,000 is what we see the starting point. So as a company, we actually have an inventory of 14,000. That means the day we put the NFT on the OpenSea, we actually have an additional liquid in the company of 112 million, basically.
If we can reach the 7 or 8, and have we decided on that strategy yet? As far as there's a 20% revenue thing going towards the nodes. Did you discuss that at all?
Yeah. So what we said is, rather than waiting for it to ramp up, because Leveler is not going to start with its maximum. Every product, every technology has a maturity timeline, right?
Right.
Until it reaches its peak, and then it stops, and it carries on. So it grows fast, then it has still
Levels
a growth,
out.
but it levels out, but still grows at a slower pace. But to speed up the process, what we said is, from day one, we're going to give 100% of Leveler's revenue into the node. We as a company are not going to take a penny. Then we're going to drop to 90%. Then we're going to drop to 80%. And we will stage it down to, and we will stop at 20%. What's that going to do? It will bring the maturity time to a very close period for us to give the value of 7,000 to 8,000 on the node on the open sea. That's what we're doing.
So it pushes more revenue to the nodes starting off. So once we're on chain, then what people will experience is a payout to their account in Phoenix, I imagine, or?
Yes, in Phoenix.
Yeah. And then they can, if they want to cash out, they can go sell that and send it to their Visa, MasterCard. I'm going to ask you about that too, because that one's been a little bit of a pain for us. So that's amazing. So basically someone who has a bunch of nodes, if they want to sell one, they can go to the market, sell it quickly, and they could buy it back later if they want. But at that point, I see that we don't have control over the price of the nodes, really. They'll just sort of be supply demand type pricing. People that want to buy them.
Well, obviously, each and every individual. I mean, if you're there and you want to sell it at a low price, obviously that's up to the node holder. However, you do have control of price because your performance on Leveler is an indicator. That's why we're keeping it at a higher percentage at the beginning to give it the opportunity to mature. That's why we're doing that. Your performance on Leveler is actually the indicator of the price. And the white paper, which is showing, well, if Leveler's been this successful, most probably the other products that are in the line that are coming, they're going to double and triple the price of this. So it gives it a base value.
And so what happens is, let's say that we get to a 50,000 a day revenue.
Yeah.
Then we get to 100,000 a day revenue, and that's when the percentage drops down. But the daily money doesn't drop down because
the money doesn't drop down. We protect the dollar until we have enough per day or per month, and then it stops at 20%.
Right, and then we as a company, we could take the capital infusion from here as well, the 12 million.
Very easily.
Yeah. You're smart. You're a smart guy, Hakan. You're a smart guy. Phoenix token vesting an NFT contract. Okay, so this I want to definitely.
This is a good idea, Micah.
Yeah, whoever came up with this, brilliant person.
Smart guy.
So obviously we've had our journey with Phoenix. Some of it has been, a little bit frustrating on our end, but we've had patience and we've worked our way through. And, considering how many token projects that end up basically failing, not doing well, I think we have acted properly. We've held back. We've made sure that it's right. And we're protecting the coin, which means we're protecting every person who bought in the pre-sale, protecting your interest, protecting the value of this. We did a compression. Some people didn't understand that. I'm actually going to do a video showing that everyone who was holding Phoenix, including the company, we all took 20-to-1, which put all the value into one token that was originally in the 20. The reason we did that was because the only way to build this price up was step one, compress. Step two, we had to show the new investors that our pre-sale buyers weren't going to dump this token on them and take the money and run. That's a little bit sort of straight to the point, but that's really what the reality of this is. So we created a plan so that everyone who has a token will experience seeing this Phoenix token increasing dramatically in price, seeing that they're holding a very, very nice number in their account, but those tokens are coming out on a schedule which is stretched much longer than we originally had planned for, but it's exactly why the price of the token will be able to see a very high number. Without this, we would never be able to bring the token up to the higher prices, which then at the really the logical conclusion there is this is, and what we're doing is making everybody more profit than they would had we not done it. That's the bottom line. So I looked at it because some people, they said, that's not fair. You know, I wanted my profit right away. I wanted to invest 1,000, make $1 million in 6 months and move to Bali and just chill. Being a little bit funny there, but you know, we of course, we want to accommodate everyone and we want everyone to make as much money as fast as possible. But then there's the reality of the market, the business and everything. So when I saw that, I was thinking, wow, if someone has this account, and let's say the Phoenix gets to $2, they have 650,000 Phoenix, their account is worth 1.3 million. Well, shoot, that's a $1.3 million asset. What if I wanted to sell it today for 50,000 or 100,000? Could I do that? And of course, you can't sell a wallet because the wallet is nothing but 12 words. And once you have them, you could always access that wallet. So I thought, is it possible to tie that contract to an NFT, and whoever has the NFT basically owns that vesting contract? And we did some research on that. And initially we were looking at, we could split that into 4 NFTs. So if you wanted to keep 3 and sell 1, that would be really cool. Unfortunately, they came back with that the only way to do that was to do it in succession. So the first NFT would be part of being paid for the first, say, 5 years. And the second one would be paid for the next 5 years. And I felt the second one and the third one or the fourth one wouldn't be attractive. And it would take away the value from the whole thing. So unfortunately, we couldn't create that situation. So we went back to just 1. Now, what is that? Well, what it is an option for someone to get out early, not with the full value. Let's say there's $1 million in your account. It's got a contract to be paid out over 10 years. Of course, probably the value of that NFT selling price wouldn't be $1 million, but maybe it's 100,000, maybe it's 50,000, maybe it's 20,000. I don't know. But if someone paid $1,000 for something and they're able to take a $20,000 payment if they're impatient and they don't want to wait, that's 20 times the money, which is, it's a home run for anybody talking about investment and what $1,000 achieved. That's a home run. Or they can wait and maybe over the next 10 years, they get paid out $10 million. Does that sort of kind of describe this in your opinion, Hakan?
Well, that's exactly what it is. And like you said, the Phoenix, this gives, first of all, having the compression, having the vested contract gives every it gives the structure, it gives everything ready for the big investors coming in and bringing Phoenix to the prices that we know it's going to get to. Now, at the same time, you can still make your millions and take, cash them out as we go along. Or like you said, if you're really desperate, what I would do, even if I was desperate, I would wait after I received the NFT, wait a couple of months, see the raise of Phoenix, and I'm sure at that point you would be still, even if you couldn't wait the vesting, you'll be doing a very good multiplier on your NFT.
A lot better, yeah.
It's you. So you've got both options.
Yeah, and we've talked about a much higher price of Phoenix ever since we did the compression. Why has that not happened yet?
First of all, you need the smart contract and the vested contract out there. Number one, because the new investors that's going to bring in Phoenix up to the price, and we have it already, by the way. They need to purchase the vested smart contract. That's how it is, because now we got bringing in professional investment, big chunks, and that is all lined up. I can't say more detail than saying lined up, but it is, and it is. So we will see a massive growth in Phoenix. That's all I can say.
And when Hakan says that, is that this is our plan, we're committed to that, but no one can make an absolute prediction on the future of anything. So, we did speak to everyone in the beginning about the investment disclaimer. So this definitely applies here. This is us talking about what we're doing, what we're planning to do. But you always have to consider that, anything can happen in business. So what's when is this going to happen? This vesting, where are we at?
Well, Monday we had the final meeting together with the team. You was there. The smart contracts finished, the vestings finished. Now, obviously, we added the NFT to it. So again, it's 7 to 10 days. That's where we are with it.
And just can be more, everybody. Can be more. Just keep that in mind. Oh. All right. Now, I think we went through sort of nuts and bolts. I think people have a good feeling and understanding for where we're going as a company, the strength of our company. We have really, and we talked about funding and things like that. And of course, we've been self-funding. We've been funding through our, affiliates and these, call it a community of venture capitalists. And of course, the more capital comes in, the more we can deploy that capital into the things that we need to do. And we know that when we have more capital, we move faster, and we're able to execute. We're able to give more value into everything that we have, more value into the notes, more value into the tokens, more value into the shares. And I remember we had, someone came in and were talking about, putting $1 million in, and we started doing math on this $1 million and what we can do with it. And it just gives us a picture of like, wow, if we can compress and fold these time frames together, then it catapults us into a higher place. Of course, that kind of money is always coming with a super negotiation, and we've felt that that wasn't maybe the right thing as far as, you know, with our nodes go. But I came to you and I said, Hakan, you know, I know where we're going with this. You know, our nodes are going to be 7,000 or 8,000 very soon. We have a lot of people in the community that weren't able to get involved in the node program. I feel that it's an incredible position. I see with what we're doing, I can see a node in the future having a value of hundreds of thousands. You know, with our success,
I think
it
it will.
is, yeah.
I mean, I mean, me giving you an average of 7,000 to 8,000 was where we see it on the day of going on OpenSea. Now,
Right.
the more we add into the node system, and there's a lot of other stuff that you know that's going on, and I don't want to go into that now.
Mm-hmm.
The increased value on node will be
I lost sound. Did you get muted? There you go. Okay.
I said, because the products, one's going live and the other one is in the process, and that's how we're going, we will see a significant growth fast for the next 12 months coming on the nodes. That's what I'm saying.
And I've had, you know, because as we've described and as the node program has gotten better and better and people have understood it more and more, there's a lot of people that have been wanting to own one. And because our price has gone up to 3,300, they're priced out. And for me, as I'm looking at, you know, if we did something really insane before we launch Leveler, I think we accomplished two things. We bring in more capital, which we can use to enhance the node program, but we also give people that last opportunity to take possession of at least one of these things that I think could be, you know, a huge help for individuals in their life, having an asset like that, and being able to acquire it, or realistically being able to pull the funds together to have one. We'd have to offer something really special, I felt. And
Yeah.
I came to you, and these things come to me not necessarily from my thinking.
You're sitting outside the meeting room lobby, and we just I think that's how you just came up with this, right?
Well, yeah, there's moments that happen where it's just, I don't feel it's coming from my thinking. I feel it's being delivered somehow, and I don't want to be too out of sort of normalcy and business here, but that's what I feel. And so I ran it by you, and you thought it was feasible because of what's happening, that we will see a $7,000 or $8,000 node in the open market very soon, from what we believe. Our target for what we were going to raise through the node program will blow right past that. So why not give a last opportunity for people to own one of these, for those who have been priced out?
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. Fanfare, drum roll. I know Melanie loves the drum roll. And I think it's just that what we want to do as we go into this phase, because after these 2 weeks, we're not going to look back. We'll be in our stride. We'll be in a place where all of this has come together, and we'll be super
That's exactly
liquid.
that is exactly where we are, Micah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I'm saying to everyone, you know, take advantage of this, share this with everyone. We've allocated 1,000 of these. And another thing I want to say too, just I want to put it out there. You know, this is everything we do is for the bigger picture. If you're someone, you paid more for a node, okay, you did, we get it. But this is about your node, the one you hold now, being worth more money faster, allowing the company to get there faster, to do bigger things with it. And it's also you giving grace to those people who get to have this opportunity to buy a node at this price at this point. So instead of thinking I should have or this should have happened, think about that. What are we doing as a company? We're giving an opportunity to people out in the world who never have opportunities, who most likely, if something like this doesn't happen, they go through their whole life without something really good happening for them financially. So this is a time that we can allow that and support that, help the company, help those people, help yourself with what you own, and go just absolutely nuts with this next 2 weeks, and we'll never look back. And in that also, we said, okay, let's do that with Italy as well. Don't miss the opportunity to own bonds that earn you, first of all, 21% interest, and then have a conversion rate in a company that I believe is destined for just incredible greatness. I don't know what you have to say about this, Hakan, but I thank you for agreeing to it.
Said it. You've said it all. I mean, it couldn't have been put better. That is exactly what that's the way you presented it to me. That's why it's being done. And I think 2 weeks later, when we look back, everybody that is an existing node holder or anybody that used this opportunity is going to see what this has done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just buzzing with excitement for Leveler launching and this really just happening on the scale that we've always been envisioning, dreaming of,
and the growth
working
strategies.
towards.
The growth strategies, Micah. You know, there's a lot of great products out there that really, they were great products, but they never actually growed. And there's a lot of stupid products that I see. Maybe they're stupid for me, but they've been very successful. And it's, like I said at the beginning, it's the people that made them big products. And that's where I think we get our strengths. But I listened for the last couple of months with the team and the strategies and the people involved. You know, we use the best people globally. And that's why I know that Leveler's going to be a big success. The following products, what we're doing with Miracle Pay, blending into the bonds.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I want people also sometimes, you know, they can get caught up in that they've had an experience in the past, then they're here, and now they're taking what they had in the past and then maybe projecting that onto us. So one of the things is, you know, I've been in opportunities before, and when they failed, there was nothing there. You know, the website closed, they didn't have anything. There was no value behind the company. There was no technology, there's no engine, nothing original. And so I'm saying
our technologies are audited, all audited and certified.
Yeah. So like, you know, and a technology that allows us to land a deal, you know, partially because of the technology with a company that has been, you know, in business for decades and have 40 million customers. That technology, because it has that power to do that, has a tremendous value. You know, our Leveler now, you know, 20 to 25 already, once it's running for a couple of months, double, triple that, which is
just
way less.
One piece of the node system.
Yeah. And so that's way less than the investments that we have received. So,
we've already value-wise multiplied it significantly.
right. So that's what people need to understand, is they own something. It's not, you know, some pie in the sky thing that may or may not work. They own something real with the audits, with everything that we're doing. This is real, and over the next 2, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, or 5 weeks, they're going to see, and it's going to materialize in a big way. And
Very big
we're
way.
so close to everything. So.
And it's definitely you know, celebration time. It is. I'm super excited. I mean, it's just I'm just super excited. I just can't stop. You know, I'm seeing all these things. They're all happening. Everybody's excited. And I said to you, you know, Micah, if there was one little camera in this room Monday,
yeah,
like it's, you know, sometimes it's difficult. I really understand the people in the community as well, because they're not in that meeting room. They're not there.
They're not here. They don't hear it. They don't see it. All it is for
It's
them is time and
yeah.
you know. So,
But I think,
I understand as well.
but they're also arrived. You know, that 2 weeks, 3 weeks is nothing. They have also arrived. You know, when we say we've arrived, because it's going to be tangible. They're going to hold it, and then it's a different phase.
Yeah. And there's like I said, you know, we were touching on a couple of times. There's a couple of things that are in the works that are very close, that we will be able to announce as well very soon. Big things. So I think that brings us sort of to the conclusion of this. I think we did get to really get some real detail that I think will help for people. I think many of the ones that maybe have been negative for a while, when they see and understand it on this level, I think it's going to raise their confidence in that there's something coming for them,
Yeah,
and
and I
it's
do want to
exciting.
do, another call in 2 weeks' time,
Okay.
where we have, you know, we have the Ünsals, we have the Pınar Serdars all on the call, because I think it's only right that we have a team call, and everybody gets to see and know who
And
are the
Unsal has
people.
a full-on Europe plan. All
And we it can be a you know, compressed call, but I think that's the timeline that we arrive. So on that arrival, we have a great call, and I think that I'm looking forward to that.
very good. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Hakan. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you've done for all of us in the company. And
Likewise,
we will,
Micah. Likewise.
All right.
Thank you.
Say hi to the family. I'll see you on Monday. So
You see me on Monday. Hi to the family, and like Micah said, I more than appreciate all the support, and we are there. We've arrived. I am phenomenally excited. Take care. All the best.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye, everyone.